Well, folks, Anthony Fauci has testified virtually before a Congress, and I just wanted to point out that at this point in time, it is the 14th of May, and the questionings by Congress of Dr. Anthony Fauci, at no time that I'm aware of did anyone point out the fact that Dr. Fauci has a conflict of interest as far as him being in an advisory capacity for this COVID pandemic. The reason for that is he has a long history of being good friends with Bill Gates, working for Bill Gates. He was on the leadership council of the Decade of Vaccines project by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. This is well known. The Decade of Vaccines ended in 2020, so he just recently would have left the program. So Fauci, who is in an advisory capacity, has a conflict of interest in the fact that he is a personal friend of Bill Gates, and Bill Gates stands to profit from this pandemic, especially in the area of vaccines. So point being, Fauci's recommendations can influence Bill Gates' profit margin in a nutshell. Now, I find it interesting and disturbing that in this entire debacle of Congress questioning Fauci, no one pointed out, not even Rand Paul, no one pointed out this conflict of interest with Dr. Fauci. Trump's not pointed out either, and he must know about it. And he's not mentioned his name. Trump has not mentioned Bill Gates' name. So, no one asked Dr. Fauci about the ethical and moral requirements of his position and how that conflicts with his friendship and his employment, previous employment or previous business undertakings with Bill Gates, how that affects his advisory capacity on the coronavirus task force. No one brought that up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you not find that strange? That I can find this out myself. If you dig around on YouTube and in the underground media, civilian media, whatever you want to call it, it's commonly known now amongst the alternative and underground civilian media. And if I can know about Dr. Fauci's position on the Leadership Council of the Decade of Vaccines project for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, then are you expecting me to believe that all these people from Congress, including Rand Paul even, not a single one broached this subject during Dr. Fauci's virtual interview by Congress? And there can only be one of two possibilities here, folks. Neither one is good. The first possibility that I guess the establishment expects me to believe is that none of these congressmen or women, not even Rand Paul, not even Donald Trump, no one seems to know or care about Dr. Fauci's conflict of interest with his relationship with Bill Gates, who stands to profit vast sums of money from vaccines for this pandemic. I'm expected to believe that no one in Congress seems to know about this. And furthermore, if you look at mainstream media, they certainly aren't talking about it. They speak of Fauci as if he is a god, folks. So, possibility number one, I'm expected to believe no one in Congress knows about this or thinks it's important, and thus did not broach the subject with Dr. Fauci whilst they had him at that opportune time. Now, there's another possibility, folks, and it's quite simple. And that possibility is that all of these people have been specifically requested not to broach Dr. Fauci's conflict of interest with Bill Gates. They've been ordered not to ask that question, not to bring that up. And that's the only other possibility I can think of. So we have two possibilities. One is they're just so obtuse and ignorant or don't understand the conflict of interest fundamentals of what that means, as I've already explained. Or they've all been ordered not to ask this question. Just like on mainstream news, there's a whole lot of things they never broach upon in the mainstream news. Geoengineering, fallout from Fukushima, the Pentagon child porn downloaders, so on and so forth. These things are never talked about in the mainstream media, and it's almost as if they are given orders not to touch that subject. And so when the interview with Fauci comes and goes, and they play all these clips, and not a single clip broaches that subject of conflict of interest, and I know they're not stupid. Possibly number one for me is off the list of possibilities, because these people have a whole staff at their disposal. I mean, if I was a congressman, I would have clerks and a staff and researchers working for me, giving me information, looking into things for me. To expect me to believe that all these people in Congress are unawares of this, and if they are aware of it, you don't think that's a problem? Okay, and then secondly, the other possibility, which is the one I believe to be true, and I'm not going to beat a dead horse, I'm going to take off here in a minute, I got a lot to do today. But the second possibility, and the one that is reality, is this government is a hoax. This government is a theatrical production. They are giving lines, they are told what to say, they are told what not to say, and this can only mean one thing. This federal government does not belong to the citizens of this country. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys recognize that something is terribly, terribly wrong when everyone in power seems to miss the boat that Anthony Fauci should not be calling any shots at all. And yet the mainstream and the Congress generally treats him as if he is a god walking on earth. And this is not so. If you look into the fact that it doesn't even seem to bother Anthony Fauci. Certainly Fauci knows about it. Fauci knows he was on the leadership council for Bill and Melinda Gates. Shouldn't he recuse himself? Shouldn't he speak up and say, oh, wait a minute, Mr. Trump, I really can't because conflict of interest. Bill Gates is my best bud. I sat on the leadership council. I knew his dad. I mean, really, folks, really. That's all I got to say today. That's it. Folks, stay safe, stay healthy, and, I'm trying to keep a positive attitude, but it seems there's a whole section, a whole group of things in this country that's taboo. You cannot talk about it. I mean, Trump won't even talk about the nuclear problem. They won't say Fukushima. They will not discuss the fallout. And that was Obama's greatest crime, was this multiple agency cover-up of the radioactive plume and cloud. I wrote a 350-something page book proving my case with FOIA documentation, which is admissible in court now. It says who said what and when, and who knew what and when and where, and all that stuff. So for me, it's a real buzzkill when 10 years goes by and nothing came of what I proved in these FOIA documents. I'll link to my book if you guys are interested in reading it. There's a lot of good information in the government's own words. I have my own opinion on nuclear power, but I show in my book what the government's saying behind the scenes and emails and FOIA transcripts from the Situation Room, what they were saying in the Situation Room. So that's covered up. And now this COVID-19, it's like what is wrong with people that don't you understand? There's two different realities. Both can't exist at the same time. One is either the government works for us and has our best interests at heart, or they don't. But the two opposites can't exist, and I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to end this video. I swear I got work to do today. It's not a government of the people, by the people. Our government is a government of the rich, by the rich, and for the rich. It always has been, it is now, and it's always going to be in the future until this mass of American sheep will wake up and take responsibility and take action. All right, that's it, folks. Okay, hey, keep your head up. Try to keep a positive attitude. I will too. Have a great day. Stay safe. Stay healthy. God bless. Patrick Penry, over and out.